call it troubleshooting. We're looking for a problem. Let's say the user came to you and say, okay, they are connected to the internet, but they are having a problem with maybe accessing certain resources or accessing the internet per se. Sorry. There's a guy called Saville by that office. Okay. So, all right, as I was saying, right, troubleshooting, right, is us going through a process of what we call fault finding. We're trying to find out what is the problem, what exactly is causing that problem. For example, we say the user is complaining about the internet that maybe is slow, or they are connected to Wi-Fi, but they can't access the internet. They can't browse anything. So that process, the person is logged in their error. Now we want to go through troubleshooting steps. So, for example, number one, on 5.1 on my slide, there it says, given a scenario, use the best practice methodology to resolve problems. When it comes to technical support, right, we have what you call policies, corporate policies and procedures that we have to follow when we are conducting, when we're doing troubleshooting, right? So it says always consider corporate policies, right? Every organization will tell you to, okay, this is a policy for you to adhere to when you are trying to troubleshoot or trying to fix any system in their environment, right? So if you are found maybe solving any problem outside of the policies or procedures that have been specified by the company might maybe charge you, or like they might charge you with a lawsuit. Let's say, for example, if you don't follow the company policies or procedures and then something goes wrong to that specific system, you damage the system, then the company can fire you for that because you didn't follow our policies and procedures. So where do we find these policies and procedures? So the minute you get hired to any organization and then they say, okay, now you are part of an IT department, most of the things, one of the things that they will do is they will show you the policies, the corporate policies, and then the procedures that you have to follow so that they can protect you as a technical support technician and also protect the organization in terms of like if something goes wrong. So if something goes wrong, let's say you're fixing someone else's computer and then something goes wrong with the computer, but you were following procedures, then in the end, you are protected, and then also the organization is protected because you were fixing the system according to company procedures and policies, right? So my question now is, do you think will there be any consequences if you don't follow company procedures when you are fixing any computer? Up again.
Yes.
What's your answer to this?
Can you repeat the question, please?
So you're not listening. Okay. So my question was, like we said, okay, when you're a technical support, right, working for advanced assessment, or you are working for any organization, right? So we say now, if you are performing troubleshooting and then maybe something goes wrong along the way when you're trying to fix a computer, but you were following corporate policies and procedures, do you think there will be any consequences to that if you were following company procedures?
No.
No. Right? Why? Do you try to elaborate on that part?
Excuse me?
Please elaborate on that.
Because you follow procedures.
Right? So, okay, let's say now I don't follow procedures and something goes wrong. What are the consequences to that?
Yeah, you can come in big trouble because you have to follow the procedures.
Right, you're sticking to that. So, okay, what Abigail is saying, right? Like, so we say it now, when you are going to any, let's say you are absorbed by any organization, right? And now you are doing technical support in that organization. Now, the thing is, we say if you are working for that organization, they will give you the corporate policies, the corporate procedures to say, okay, when you are conducting troubleshooting, this is the policy that the company stipulated. This is the procedure that you have to follow when fixing certain things, right? So now we said that policy on its own, it protects you as a technical support technician and also protects the organization. Because sometimes you might be employed by advanced assessment, but you are conducting troubleshooting or conducting tech support in a company that maybe is contracting advanced assessment. For example, let's say you are employed by Advanced Assessment, but you work at ABSA. You're doing technical support at ABSA. So now we're saying if you follow the policies and procedures that have been stipulated by ABSA, then you are protecting yourself. You're also protecting Advanced Assessment as an organization to say, okay, if things go wrong, if something goes wrong, here is the policy and procedures that I was following. So things didn't go well because technically, like things can go wrong anytime, right? But if you're following policies and procedures, you're kind of protecting yourself and then also protecting the organization that you're working for, right? So in that situation, you are not on fault in terms of like doing anything wrong because the policies and the procedures, they are there to protect you as the technician and also protect your organization, right? So and then it says always consider corporate policies. So when anytime you're doing you are doing a troubleshooting or fixing anything in any organization, the most important thing is to know the policies and procedure for that organization. And then we're saying now the impacts before implementing changes. So, for example, let's say you're working on any computer, right? Let's say you what you call, let's say you're upgrading any system. Yeah, Tabo,
Melusi,
sure.
Melusi,
Yeah, Tabo, I can hear you.
So we can't hear.
can you please tell Abigail to close the mic because we can't hear proper?
Okay, let me unmute your mic. Yeah.
Okay, please, thank you.
All right. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah, yes, we
All
hear
right.
you.
So
Yeah, we hear you.
all right, sharp. So far, what we've been talking about is the importance of the corporate policies and procedures when you are conducting troubleshooting, right? You might be good at troubleshooting, but most of the times things go wrong when it comes to technical support, right? Like you might say, okay, I have like 3 years or 4 years of experience. I've been doing this for 4 years. But on that time, there might be something that goes wrong. But if you were following policies and procedures, then we're saying you are protecting yourself as a technician and also protecting the organization that you're working for, right? And then now we're looking at the impacts before implementing any changes, right? So we looked at these are the consequences. We said, okay, if you don't follow any procedures and policies that are stipulated by the organization, what are the consequences to that? We said, okay, you might lose your job or your organization might lose the contract, right? So those are the consequences that might come into place when you don't follow the policies and procedures. Okay, number one, identify the problem. So these are, okay, let me go through. Okay, troubleshooting steps, right? We have troubleshooting steps that every technician needs to follow. So number one, it says identify the problem, right? Let's say the user now has come to you and told you, okay, they are connected to Wi-Fi, but they can't access the internet, right? So that's the problem that we're facing currently. That's the issue that we need to troubleshoot and come up with a solution. And then the most important thing, again, is the time we take in solving problems. Let's say the example that I gave you that you are employed, let's say you are employed by Advanced Assessment, but Advanced Assessment is a contract with ABSA. So they take you, Tabo, from Advanced Assessment, and then they say, okay, you want to be doing technical support at Advanced Assessment, but you are employed by Advanced Assessment, but you're working at ABSA. And then ABSA, so that means ABSA and Advanced Assessment, they have signed an SLA, service level agreement, to say, okay, Tabo is going to be doing technical support with you guys. And then these are the things that Tabo is going to do. And then his response time when it comes to issues that you have, technical issues, it must be this amount of time. So let's say there's an issue. Most of the times we expect you as a technician to not take more time, like for example, to waste a user's time and also trying to troubleshoot the problem. So that's why they created the troubleshooting steps. So that if, let's say, you have exhausted all of your troubleshooting steps, now what you can do is you escalate the problem, right? So before we get to the part of escalating any issues, let's start with troubleshooting step number one. We're saying identify the problem. The user came to you and said, okay, they can't connect to the internet. They've connected to Wi-Fi, but they can't access the internet, right? So number one will be question the user and identify user changes to computer and perform backups before making any changes. But number one will be, okay, question the user. Like, were you able to, the question that you're going to ask the user, okay, let's go through this first, right? what are the questions that you're going to ask the user before you try to fix this issue that they've come up to you with. The scenario is that the user, they are connected to Wi-Fi, but they can't access the internet. So what question do you think we need to ask this user now? Larry, question number one, which question do you think you are going to ask the user? Okay, let's look for a good scenario. This one maybe might be too big for you guys. Let's say now the user is saying their computer is slow now. It's way too slow. What question are you going to ask the user now in order for you to get to the bottom of the problem? Larry,
So you're gonna ask the user why is the laptop slow? Does it have to do with the speed of the laptop?
okay. So Larry is saying you ask the user why is the laptop slow. All right, Sandile, what question are you going to ask the user now? Sandile, can you hear me?
Yeah, what was the question again?
Ah, that sign in and then just leave the
No.
so my question is, right, like let's say there is someone else from, let's say now you are doing technical support, right? You have been employed
Yeah,
by advanced assessment now. And then there's someone
yeah.
else, a user comes to you and say their laptop is slow. And then now you are the technician, you want to troubleshoot, you want to find out, okay, what is the problem with the computer? What question are you going to ask the user in order for you to narrow down or find out what is it that is causing this problem?
Um, huh? Well, I'm. I will ask if the laptop is in a proper manner, which is to connect, and yeah.
All right.
Mr. Lucy,
Yeah, sure.
school over here.
Sure, Kun. Yeah. What's your answer? Thank you, Sandile.
Um, I would probably ask, is the device's software fully updated, or is it at least updated to the, yeah, fully updated? I would ask that question, sir. Am I right, or am I off track here or what?
No. You are correct, right? So when it comes to troubleshooting, the only person that knows, okay, what exactly is going on with their system in terms of like any changes that they've made to the system is the user, right? So Larry, I'm going to come back to you. You said when you are asking questions, when you're asking a user, uh, don't ask them as if you're blaming them for the maybe for the problem that the computer is going through, right? Like the problem the system is experiencing at the moment, right? So don't point fingers at them because they won't give you detailed information in terms of like what are the changes that happen to the system. So you rather blame the
Or can I
system,
try?
point the blame to the system, right? So that they might give you detailed information. So first we said question the user and identify user changes to computer and perform backups before making any changes. So most of the times, one problem when it comes to technical support, right? The problem that the computer is facing might be caused by many things. So in order for you to narrow down, is the best thing to do is to ask the user, the person that was using the computer, say, okay, before the system started behaving this way, what changes did you make to the system? Right? So now you kind of like narrowing down. You want to find and figure out, okay, what exactly is the problem? Because if you don't have that answer to the changes that was made to the system, uh, there are so many things that might be causing the system to be slow, right? But if the user tells you, okay, what exactly they changed, then now you focus on that. You know, okay, maybe they will tell you, okay, before I made this change, the system was running fine. So now you know, okay, the change that the user made is the one that affected the system. And then now you can roll back to how the system was before. So anytime you're asking a user, don't blame them, right? You rather point the finger or blame the computer or the system. You just say, okay, you know, technical systems, they usually give us problems. So you are not necessarily blaming the user, but you're pointing or you're blaming, you're putting the blame maybe on the system. So now the user will feel comfortable in giving you information about what exactly changed before the system started misbehaving, right? So before the system started malfunctioning, it will
Yes,
tell
sir.
you, okay, this is what I changed. So Larry, don't blame the user. Always try by all means to make sure that you maybe point blame or think say that it's the system, right? So the minute the user gives you tells you okay what exactly they changed on the system, it becomes easy. You are narrowing down your troubleshooting steps. Now you're narrowing down the process of troubleshooting. You focus now on that exact thing that the user changed. So that's question the user and identify user changes to computer and perform backups before making any changes. All right, I can't overemphasize on the backups, right? There were once when my first days when I was a technician, right? There was this time whereby I was called in to fix the what do you call to fix the my manager system, right? So I went in to fix my manager system, but now the problem was that when I tried to make changes on that system, I didn't back up the information, right? So the changes that I made, they corrupted the entire system. So meaning that the information that was on the hard drive, the information that was on that computer, everything was corrupted. So I didn't have a backup. So the information that was there, it was really important. You see, so anytime you're doing any changes to the computer, you need to back up every time. That's why we say, okay, most of the organization, when you start technical support with them or they onboard you in their organization, they will give you an external hard drive. The external hard drive is for you to back up the system before you make any major changes on that machine, so that if the system get corrupted, the user data will still have it somewhere. But now these days, most organizations they use their system, they use cloud computing, right? So that even though the information is lost on the local drive, you find that it is stored on the cloud. So those are the things that you have to focus on when you are doing troubleshooting, right? First, we said question the user. Number two, we say now conduct the backups before you make any changes to the system, so that if things go wrong, if the system, if you lose or if the system get corrupted, and then the hard drive, now we can't access information on the hard drive, at least we have a backup on the external hard drive. So those are the things that you have to look out for when you are conducting troubleshooting. Okay, Sharon, what's your question? Sharon, if you're talking, your mic is off. Can you unmute yourself and then say something? Sharon,
One minute, can you hear
yes, I
me?
can hear you, Sharon.
So
Yeah.
what's the question?
I'm just politely asking you to slow down because you're a little bit fast in explaining all of these things.
Okay, cool, no problem.
Mhm.
All right,
Lucy.
so let me go back. As Sharon said, she I must like slow down a bit, right, so that she can catch up what I'm saying. So number one, we said what you do is identify the problem, right? Identify the user have came to you, Sharon, said, okay, here's the problem that I'm facing with my computer. So please troubleshoot my system. Can you try to find out what is really wrong with my system, right? So that's the user coming to you, right? And then we said, okay, number two, what exactly does Sharon have to do as a technician, right? What questions are you going to ask the user, right? We said question number one is question the user, right? Ask the user what changes they made to the system, right? So if there's any change that has been made to the system, that change will make it easy for you to narrow down as to what exactly caused the system to malfunction, right? And then number three was we said before you make any changes to the system, what do you have to do before you make any changes to the system? What do you have to do?
You said you have to ask the person who's having problems why is he having those problems first.
All right, that
You have
was
to
the first step,
question
right?
him.
Question the user. Now we have number two. We're saying number two, what exactly? We're saying now number two, we have to perform the backups, right?
Yes.
So before you make any changes to the system, we have to back up that specific system cause it might affect so that if the system is corrupted, we might have a backup of that actual information. But as again, I said these days, most companies what they do is
Yeah, so
they have backed up most of their information on cloud systems. So even though we
yeah,
affect this,
because of
listen, listen, want to say
yeah,
something?
about the backup system, so
Yeah.
Yeah, the backup system is basically for when your system crashes, and then the backup system will restore everything that you had previously recorded on your device or whatever. So it's a safety measure basically.
Exactly, right? So it's just like you're putting a safety measure in terms of like if the system fails, then you have the backup somewhere, right? So what you do is you just take the
Excellent.
information that's on the external hard drive and then you just load it on that machine. Let's say if you've corrupted the hard drive, so you're not worried about losing the information on the hard drive because you already have a backup on the side. So you just take that information that you've backed up and then you just what you call load it on the new system. That's it. So you are just putting, as Listen have said, as Kuni have said, that it is just like a safety measure that we're putting in place so that if things go wrong, because most of the times things will go wrong when it comes to technical things, right? So
Right, because
you need to have a backup on the side. So now again, right? The first one was that we said you have to follow company policies and procedures, right? So the thing is, backup before making any changes might be something that is part of the company policies or procedures. So meaning that if you lose important information, then the company will ask you to, okay, did you perform any backup before you made any changes to the system? And then if you don't have that backup with you, then now they'll go back to the policies and procedures and say, okay, but look, the policies and procedures really state that you have to do one, two, three before you make any changes to the system. Does that part make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Before I move, okay, we said question the user, identify user changes to computer, and perform backups. Inquire regarding environmental or infrastructure changes. All right. So, what is it that we call environmental and infrastructure changes? Right. So, anytime you hear people talking about environment, when it comes to technical support, right? Environment basically they're talking about the system, the place, the environment, or the place where these systems are running on, the infrastructure where the systems are running on. So, for example, your computer, if they are on my network, right, if they are part of my network, so when we're talking about the environment, we're talking about that infrastructure. It's an environment where the computer or the infrastructure where the systems are running on. So, the infrastructure or the environment might be the one that causes problems to the system, right? So but for example, like in order for you to pick up any environmental problems that are faced by a system or that are causing a system to fail, it usually takes time for us to pick it up, right? You find that you pick it up after a while, after some time, right? Like to pick up and say, okay, this problem was caused by environment. So environment, we might talk about, let's say maybe it's a server, right? There's a server room, and then maybe the temperature that is in that server room, it is way too high for the systems that are in there, which maybe cause the system to fail all of the times, right? Or to have what we call intermittent shutdowns, whereby the system switches on and switches off intermittently. Make sense? So the environment sometimes might be you find that okay maybe the computer is in an environment that is way too hot, which causes the system to switch off and on all of the time. So that might be the environment, right? That is affecting the system. So in order for us to pick up problems like that, we have to go back to the documentation. So the thing is, every time we make any changes to the system, right? All of those changes that we make to the system, we document them, meaning that we write that information down on a system so that when you go back to the documentation, you try to see it, okay, we have previously we had problems with what you call technical errors with this specific system. And then maybe you find that all of the systems that are in one room, they're having the same problems, right? So now you realize, okay, it's not the hardware problem, it's not the software problem, but maybe it's just the environment because you have picked up that maybe all of the systems that are in one environment or in one room, they are all experiencing the same problem. So that's why I say that it's really difficult for us to pick up problems that are faced by that are caused by environment. These problems we usually pick them up after we've gone through the documentation to say, okay, why is this happening? Why is this always happening on these computers in this specific area? Then you collect that information from the documentation. So we're going to talk about documentation as to where do we document this information? Do we because some organizations they're still using paper, they document on a paper on a book, And then some organization, they document all of these things on a system somewhere. So we go back to the documentation and say, okay, the computers that were in Kuala, all of them, they're facing the same problem, right? That's Kuala department, right? The computers that were in E2QA, they are all facing the similar problem. So now it is not a hardware problem. It is not a technical problem. So it must be maybe environment, of which environment problems we said it takes time for you to pick them up to say, okay, sorry, to pick them up to say it is environmental problem. But documentation helps when it comes to that. All right. And then review system application logs. And then, okay, your system now, every computer, especially Windows 10, Linux, all of these systems, they have what we call the logs. So everything that happens to your computer, when you log into your computer, the system logs that information. It means it records that information. If someone else tries to log into your computer and then uh, let's say they have what we call login failure. All of those login failures, they are recorded on the system. So when you go to your machine and then go through something called the log file or the logs on your computer, so all of the activities that happen in your computer, they are logged. So those log or that information comes in handy when we're troubleshooting. So we know, okay, what exactly happened before the system started malfunctioning. So the logs are the point where we go to in terms of like when we're trying to troubleshoot and figure out what exactly is going on with our systems. Okay, I know sometimes I get excited and then I move a bit fast. Do we all understand what's on this slide before I move to the next slide? Anyone who needs any explanation before I move to the next slide? Sure. Windows 10.
The application logs, sir. Review system application logs.
Come again, cool.
Review system and application logs. I don't understand that part.
That's okay.
Like, is it
So there is a
get
part.
the
Okay,
result?
the logs, right? Let me check on my system. Let me check on my system. Let me say the logs. Let me do this. Let me go to control panel. I just want to show you that.
No problem.
All right. So I'm sure now you can see my screen, right? The event view. All right. So I have that part which is called the. So you all can see my screen.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
All right.
No, 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 no.
You can see my screen.
No, sir.
No.
No, we cannot see your screen,
No.
Minier.
No,
Uh,
You show
nothing on
me
your
your
screen,
icon,
mister.
sir.
No, nothing on your screen, Manir.
all right. Let me do this. How about now?
No. Nothing.
No, still nothing, mister.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. Let me see.
If sir is having trouble with it, then it's fine, sir. Not train smash.
No, it's important. Just. ah. All right. Looks like it doesn't want to show that part. Okay, let me go back to the old slide, to my other slide. Let me see. Da-da-da-da-da. All right. So I just wanted to show you the event viewer. So on your computer, you can type in on Sage, type in on Sage event viewer, and then it will show you all of the logs or the information that the system records on your machine, right? So those are the logs. So, okay, no questions on this part. Can I move to the next slide?
Please, please mute your mics, guys. Can't hear, sir.
Yeah, because it sounds like breaking up. So can you please put our mics off, guys?
All right, how about now? You all can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're saying we're good with this slide, right?
Yes, sir.
Identify the problem, right? We said first step is to identify the problem, question the user, identify user changes. Okay, let me move to the next step. All right, number 2, establish a theory of probable cause. Question the obvious, if necessary, conduct external or internal research based on symptoms, right? So we have asked the user many questions, right? So the user have given us the answers in terms of like saying, okay, what are the changes? What exactly they changed to the system before the system started malfunctioning, right? So that it helps us to narrow down our troubleshooting, right? So they have told us, okay, this is what's happening with our system. Now we are on step number 2, establish a theory of probable cause. So this is us now trying to figure out, okay, to trying to think, okay, what exactly might be causing this? They say their system is slow, and then they say, okay, this is exactly what they changed. So you're trying to figure out, okay, what is the probable cause? Question the obvious. What are the things that might cause the system to slow down? What are the things that can cause the system to be slow?
Too many background programs running at the same time,
There are so many programs
probably.
that are running at the same time.
Too many
Number one.
tabs open.
Gabriela, you
Yeah.
were saying?
Like there's too many tabs open, sir.
So many tabs that are opened. All right. What else can cause?
Um. Um. Maybe
Sir,
the system isn't up to date, fully up to date. I always say that's a issue.
Okay, the system is not updated, right?
Yes.
storage is full.
The hard
Yes.
drive is full,
So,
which most of the times when the hard drive is full, is almost full, it kind of like slows down your entire machine, right? So now,
yeah.
so these are the theories that we're coming up with, right? So we are on step number 2. We're coming up with theory. The user have given us their problems. Now we're coming up with theories. What exactly that might cause the problem? What exactly might cause this system to behave like this? So we have given many of them, right? So all of those things that we have said, they are the things that might cause the system to fail or cause the system to behave that way, right? So now, if necessary, conduct external or internal research based on symptoms. So when it comes to this part, conduct external and internal research. Uh, Internal research, this is us going to the documentation book or the log book to say, okay, is there anyone that has faced the same problem in this organization, right? Is there anyone who fixed a problem similar to this? So we're looking at our internal research database, right, which is our log system whereby we log all of the errors. Then we go back to that documentation book or documentation system. Then we check and see, okay, maybe let's say Abigail experienced the same problem before, and then how did she manage to fix that problem? And then that's the part we call the internal research based on symptoms, right? And then also external databases might be whereby we go to what do you call a community, Microsoft community, whereby maybe most people they upload problems that they face with Microsoft Windows, and then some people will answer them in terms of like how were they able to solve that problem. So step number 2 is us establishing a theory of probable cause. What exactly might be the cause of this system to behave this way? So we have listed 4. In some scenarios, you might list maybe about 10 things that can cause the system to malfunction. So we have all of those, we have written them down, right? So when we say question the obvious, there are certain things whereby we have to start with them, right? What is it that you think we have to start with in terms of like fixing this particular problem? So question the obvious, right? We are asking the user about the obvious things, right? So what do you think is the first thing that we have to start with based on the theories that we have given? Which theory do we think we have to start with? We have given 4 theories, right? Now we want to find out which theory do you think we have to start with?
So,
Tabo.
Melo, sorry to disturb you, man. The line is busy cutting. We can't hear you right properly. Can you repeat it?
My line is cutting. Let me check my network speed.
Yeah, please.
My network speed. It's really bad this side. Network speed test. Network speed test. Let's see. Coming. No, it can't be my network speed because I'm on 75 MB per second. Is my network bad that side? You can't hear me.
Yeah, it's okay now.
All right, because I'm on
So I can hear
78
you.
MB.
So
All right. Let's see.
also, I think that's the sound problem. It's because maybe many of our mics are on. That's why I think we can't share you now and then.
All right. So we are on step number 2, right? We said establish a theory of probable cause. We have come up with different theories, right? The ones that we think are really the ones that are causing the system to malfunction. We've given like 3 or 4 of them, right? What were those? What your laptop? Can't use any laptop now. Okay. Oh, what I can do, what I can, Roshan. Okay. So guys, we said number 2, establish a theory of probable cause, right? We have given 3 of them. What were those? What were those theories that we gave? I just want to move to slide number 3. And I move to slide number 3. Anyone wants to answer the theories that we gave? Kuhn gave us a theory. Gabriela gave us a theory. So I'm just looking for those theories. Larry?
I see.
So
I can't hear you, Larry. Say
the system is not up to date.
system is
The
not
system
updated, right? That's
is
number
not
1.
up to date.
Number 2, anyone? Bongela?
Full internal storage.
Hard drive is out of storage. We got Bongela.
Software update.
I can't find where the
Yeah, Michelle.
laptop at, guys.
Opening lots of tabs.
Opening a lot of tapes, right? Thanks, Sandy.
Yes.
Right. So those are the theories that we have, right? Now, okay, my quick question will be, which theory do you think we're going to test first? Out of the theories that we have given, right? Which theory, as a technician, right, you're fixing this computer, which theory are you going to test first?
System not up to date.
Okay, Sandila will start with
That update the
updating the
system.
system. Okay, right? Paul, you were saying something?
Something.
Can someone mute their mic if who's that?
Oh, sorry, it's me, sir. Sorry.
Okay, Tabo, which theory are you going with?
I think we must test the hard drive first.
Start with the hard drive. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So as a technician, right?
So it's
So I think
Yeah. Someone saying something.
you would check the if the tabs are open because it's easier and faster to see.
Okay. I thank you. You know, you just gave me a good answer, right? You start with the easier one, right? The obvious one, like the easy one to fix at that moment, right? So that's the right. So
Sir,
hey, Shadrach.
sir, you also
Okay. Shadrach, sorry, you want to say something? Did I mute Shadrach? Okay. Okay, Shadrach, can you unmute your mic? You were saying something.
Yes, I was saying that you try to determine whether the hardware or software is the culprit.
All right. So there are so many probable causes that we've come up with, right?
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, usually when you are fixing any computer, right, you start with the easy one, right? You try to look for the easier option. As Gabriela said, okay, why can't I start by closing the tabs and then try to see, especially close the tabs that the user is not using, right? Currently not using, and then try to see if that will make any difference, right? So when you are fixing these problems or when you are going through these theories, you test them one by one so that you will be able, after troubleshooting, you'll be able to tell, okay, which one really caused the problem. You mustn't fix all of them, mustn't correct all of them at the same time. For example, update the system, close the tabs. You do them one by one so that when you're documenting in the end, you are writing down exactly what exactly caused the problem. You know what exactly caused the problem so that next time we won't face the same problem, right? The main reason why we're doing this, we want to, what you call, try by all means to avoid the problem from reoccurring. So what you do is test the theories one by one. So on number 3, right? On number 2, we came up with theories. Then number 3, you test the theory to determine the cause. We said we have 3 theories or 4 theories, and then we said, okay, Gabriela said we start with closing the tabs, right? And then my point was we don't test the theories, all of them at once. You do them one by one. So once the theory is confirmed, determine the next steps to resolve the problem. So now when you have closed all of the tabs and then the system goes back to normal, now it's working fine. So now you are assured that yes, the problem was caused by what? By the tabs. Now the system is running perfect. So you can now document the problem and then give back the user their laptop, right? Okay, now what sometimes it happens that okay, the theory is not confirmed. If theory is not confirmed, re-establish a new theory or escalate. So now we're gonna start with re-establishing a new theory. Because on our side, on our scenario, we had like 4 theories, right? So we said, okay, test the first theory. Our first theory was what? Was closing the tabs. So if that theory is not working, we have to move to the second theory. We said, okay, maybe you might prefer to start with updating your system. Maybe you update your system. Or if that's not working, then you check your hard drive. If the hard drive has space, and then if it has space, then if it doesn't have space, then you clear up the space and then monitor the system if it goes back to normal. If that doesn't work, you go to another theory. And then if you run out of all of your theories, right? You feel like, okay, I have tested all my theories. Now I don't know what to do. What do you think you have to do now? We have exhausted all of your theories. So that means now your experience, like you have come to a stage whereby you say, okay, I thought I knew what was the problem with this system, right? I had like 4 theories, and then now all of my 4 theories, they're not really working, right? So now we're saying, what do you have to do now? All of your theories are not working. What do you have to do?
Please repeat your question.
So we said on step
What
number
was the
2,
question again, sir?
we established theories, right? We had like so many theories, right? And then that was number 2. And then on number 3, we are testing all of those theories, right, to see which is it the ones that is causing the problem. And then now we say, okay, all of those theories, they are not solving the problem, right? So my question is, now you have exhausted all of your theories. What do we have to do now? What's the next step?
Troubleshooting.
We were troubleshooting, but we have failed, right? So what do we have to do now? Bongeka, I'm not sure if
Test.
I'm not sure if Bongeka can hear me.
After making any changes, we test, isn't it, sir? Check if it's working correctly.
How about say maybe you replace the patch cable with the one you know is good?
You replace?
You replace the patch cable. The only way to test the theory.
Not quite the answer I'm looking for. Ite,
Okay.
So you can check the You can check the network that you're located in.
Okay.
You can check if it's happening to everyone else in your network.
All right. Here's my question, right? We're saying now you guys still have theories, right? Now we're saying you have run out of theories, right? That means you don't know what to do, like you don't know how to fix this, right? So what do you have to do after this? If you still have theories, then you test all of those theories until you figure out, okay, maybe you find the correct one. But now we're saying, okay, you have ran out of theories. Chabo?
I think you must back up all the documents and wipe the device, then you start it from fresh.
All right. Okay, the answer that I'm looking for, guys, right? You see, Chabo now, he still has a theory, right? He still knows, okay, what I can do. But we say sometimes you get to a situation whereby the problem, right? You had theories, let's say 10 of them, right? You have tested all of the theories, but still it's not working. That means now, based on my experience, this thing is higher than me. I can't fix it. I don't know how to fix it. So what I do is I escalate, right? That is the answer that I'm looking for. As you can see down here, we said if theory is confirmed, re-establish a new theory. If theory is not confirmed, you re-establish a new theory. But I'm saying now we have run out of all of those theories, right? We have finished all the theories. You have no idea now how to fix this. And then if you come to that stage, you escalate the problem, right? So when it comes to technicians, right, we have level one technician, level two, level three, of which it means you find that there are some that have more experience than you, right? Let's say you are new to IT, and then most of the problems you've never faced them in your life, right? Like so you have like few knowledge in terms of like how to fix a certain problem. So if you exhaust all of your troubleshooting steps, all of your theories, right? What you do is normally is we have to take that theory or we have to what you call because the theories are we run out of theories, we escalate, we call in someone else who has experience, who's more experienced than me, and then we give them that problem. We tell them, okay, sorry, I tried my best, right? This is what I thought could fix the problem, but now I've run out of ideas. Then I call someone else that who's more experienced than me, and then they work on that. Remember again, even though you might have small theories in terms of like how to fix a problem, but time is not on our side, right? The user gives you a problem, they have a project that they're working on, so you have to fix their problem. You have to fix the problem, and then once you're done with that problem or fix the solution, once you come up with a solution, what you have to do after that is give back the user their laptop. So you have to make sure that you don't waste the user time. If you know, okay, you have tried all the best that you can, so now what we need to do, just to save time, we escalate the problem, call in another technician who's more experienced than me, and then they fix that problem for us. Okay, before I move to next slide, does this step number 3 make sense?
Yes, sir. It makes sense,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right, Ite, can you hear me? Hupelang, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, what have you learned so far on this slide?
On this particular slide,
Just on this slide, yeah.
okay, basically what I have learned on this particular slide is that once you have a confirmed theory, or rather, you come up with theories as to what the problem could be with the device, the laptop, or whatever. And then once you have probably tested out the theories, you first start with the easiest theory, which would mean that you start with the one which is quicker and easier for you to kind of solve, which would be the tabs that was mentioned. The tabs is a lot easier
Sorry,
to
sorry, sorry,
establish.
sorry to break the word. I'm sorry to break your word, classmate.
Okay.
You're saying to make things easier, like you start the easy things to work faster. Is it that you're saying?
No, I'm saying that when you have your theories, the first theory that you test out is the one that is the easiest. So the one that is the easiest to maybe solve. Yes, that's what I was saying. Yeah. And then if you test out all of your theories and you find that none of them have worked and none of them are have, you've come up with a solution for any of them, then you obviously have to escalate the situation, which is to bring in somebody who knows more than you and is able to have more experience than you.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
That's
okay.
it.
I
Yeah,
understand. I
definitely. That's it, right? Like we
understand.
said, we have on number two, on process number two, right? We are establishing different theories, right? We said, okay, these are the theories that we have. Maybe let's say we had 10 of them, right? We test those theories, right? And then also when we testing those theories, we're keeping in mind the time frame, right? The time that we're using to fix that specific problem, right? If we overlap now, if it becomes more than what we expect to take in terms of like fixing that problem, then we move to something else, right? We escalate. We say, okay, sorry, I can't fix this. Calling someone else who's more experienced than me, and then they come in and then they fix that specific problem for us. Definitely, that's it when it comes to step number three, right? And then let's move to step number three. Troubleshooting. Establish a plan of action to resolve the problem and implement a solution. So we're on number four now. Establish a plan of action to resolve the problem and implement the solution. So this is the part whereby now we have to fix the problem, right? On number four, establish a plan of action. We have said, okay, plan of action will be maybe close all of the applications. We close the applications, or maybe the plan is to defragment the hard drive or clean the hard drive to make sure that it has space or remove some of the things that we don't need. Or now on number four, this is the time whereby we're saying, okay, we are updating the system, right? We say, okay, let's update our system and then see if it makes any changes. So establish a plan of action. We had a theory on number four. We have to establish an action to resolve the problem and then implement the solution. That's number four. Basically, we are on a step whereby we're saying, okay, the solution has to come now, right? We have to fix the system and then give it back to the user so that they can carry on with their project, with their work. And then number five is the most important one, right? Verify full system functionality and, if applicable, implement preventative measures. Let me start with verifying full system functionality. So before we give it back to the user, we have to verify that the system is working or functioning properly before we give it back to the user, right? So this is the process whereby we have to
Mr.
test the
Lucy,
system. So we have to test. So
Mr.
you make changes
Lucy.
to the system and then you test those systems. You monitor the system. Try to see if the system is working. Sometimes some of the monitoring that we
Sir,
do is we give the user back their system. We monitor the system while the user is using the machine, right? Just to save time again. If we close the tapes and all those things, right, simpler things like that, then we can give the user their system, or if we have updated the system, we give back the user their system, and then we monitor the system to see it. Okay, does the theories that we had, did they make any changes to the system? If they did, then perfect, we're happy. But the most important thing is to monitor the system before you even give it to the user. Try by all means to monitor the system, so to check that, to verify that it's fully functioning, right? And then
Mr. Malusi,
yeah.
Larry just messaged me now. He needs assistance to get back to the meeting because he has been disconnected.
Okay, let me check if
So now he's asking me
okay, let me check
to
if he's
help him, please, sir. Okay.
there's no one on the lobby, but okay, I will admit him once I see him on the lobby. Tell him to try to log in again. All right.
Okay,
So
I'll
number
tell him now.
five, the other important part is implement preventive measures. So in order for this problem not to reoccur, we have to come up with preventive measures. If the system is overheating and it was caused by the environment, then what we have to do, try by all means to make sure that the temperature in that room or in that environment, it matches or it suits the systems that are running on that specific environment. You want to check it? Sharp, you can take it. Okay, no problems. Okay, but I won't be able to see who's connected. Let me see now on my side. Okay, I'll just call them using this. Okay, let me see participants. Okay, fine, I got them there. All right, let me see. Where was I? All right. So if anyone raises their hand there, right, just tell me. Because this side I don't think I'll be able to see. No, it's fine. It's fine. You'll tell me. Okay, number 5, we said verify full system functionality. Okay, implement preventive measures. Okay, does the part of this slide make sense? Verify full system functionality. Anyone who wants me to explain anything on this part?
Now, so everything is clear.
So
Thanks.
this slide, right, is quite clear. So verify full system functionality. Before I, okay, Mpo, can you summarize this in your own understanding? Mpo,
Umisa,
in your own understanding.
in my own understanding.
No, I mean, Paul there. I want Paul to explain.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. Tabo, in your own understanding, can you explain what you understand on this part?
Hello?
In your own understanding, can you explain what you understand on this part? On this slide.
Sorry, Melissa, I can't hear you. Line breaking. I think my network have problem here. Because it's down, it's 2 point something. I was taking the speed.
Where are you? Are you at the office? Tabo, you connecting from home or at the office?
I'm at home.
All right. Okay, so that's number 5, right? We're saying verify full system functionality. You're testing, right? You've come up with different theories. You have to test your system to see if it's working fine, right? 100% fine. Then you test the system. And then we say the most important part again is preventive measures, right? We don't want the users to be calling us for the same problem time and again. So if we can prevent the problem from happening again, then thumbs up, right? Let's do that so that the users won't call us for the same thing. Okay, I'll tell you something about IT, right? Technical support, especially, right? So if everything is running perfect at work in any organization as an IT personnel, right? People won't even notice that you're not at work. Do you know that? Like if their system, if the system is running fine, most of the people won't even notice that we are not at work because everything will be up and running. So we always try by all means to make sure that all of our systems in our network, they are up and running all of the times so that we don't have much work, right? So when you're working for any organization, especially if your systems are running, you might find that you only work maybe 2 hours in a day in any organization if your machines are up and running perfectly, right? If you're doing tech support the old school way, they just know that you're only working for 2 hours in every organization, right? Okay, number 6, the other important part is document findings. Why do you think it's important to document the findings? So the findings, we're talking about what exactly we found out in terms of like what caused the system to fail, and then how did we manage to fix that problem. So that all of that process, we document it. So my question is, why do you think that is important to document findings? Abigail, why do you think it's
So
important
that
for us to document the findings? Abigail, okay, Paul, your hand is up, Paul.
Okay, I think it's important for us to document the findings so that if someone else has the similar problem, they can find the solution much easier from the previous problem that was solved.
Thank you. Right, that's it. Right, that's the most important. Important part about documenting findings. Right. So if you just look at the documentation, right, you checked. Okay, maybe Kun had a similar problem with this user, and then this is how they managed to fix the problem. So instead of you now running around looking on the internet how to fix that, because some of the problems, the problems that you see in different organizations that are going to face, right? They are caused by environment or the infrastructure that the computer is running on, right? So when you go on the internet, people were answering questions based on their particular environment that they're working on. So the documentation is the problems that we are facing based on the environment that we're working on as advanced assessment, and then based on the infrastructure of advanced assessment. If you go online and then try to look for a problem, you might find that, okay, the problem that you are looking for online, someone else managed to fix the same problem using different methods, but the problem wasn't caused by really the same thing that you are facing right now, right, in your organization. So most of the problems that you might see are caused by maybe the environment or the infrastructure. So the best platform to find a solution will be the documentation that we create as an organization. Because all of the problems that you see there, they are caused by the environment that the computer is running on at advanced assessment, or they are caused by the infrastructure that the system is running from on advanced assessment. So the solutions that you're finding online, they are generic solutions, of which there might not be exactly what is causing your system to fail. But on the documentation part, it's exactly the problem that is causing your system to fail, to malfunction, because the environment is the same. Does that part make sense, what I'm trying to say here now? Gabriela, can you summarize what I just said now?
Yes, sir. So you said that documenting findings can help you troubleshoot other problems in your organization, and it will also give you like peace of mind to know that if you go on another, like if you go on a website, sir, and you find someone else found another way to resolve this problem, then you can use that problem also, sir.
Right. So we said it is important to document, all right, the actions and then the outcomes. So document all of that. So that's step number 6. So once you do that, so as I said, most companies they come. Tabo.
Melusi,
So
sorry to disturb you, man. My network is very poor. Can you please, if when you're done, and send the video in group, please?
okay, cool, no problems.
Because I can't even hear nothing now.
Okay, no problem. All right. So
Okay, thank you.
sharp, no problem. That was
Check
number
your
6.
signal, boss. Check your signal.
Yeah.
The signal. That guy is struggling with signal, sir. It's connection.
Yeah. He's saying his network is bad on his side, so he's struggling to hear. So he's asking for recording. So we're gonna share the recording with him. All right. So those were troubleshooting steps, right? We said number 1, the most important thing is when we troubleshoot, we start with, okay, let's go with step number 1. Step number 1. What do you understand with step number 1 of troubleshooting? What do you think comes with step number 1? What needs to be done with step number 1? Let's say, what happens with step number 1? I'm looking for metro file, guys. Pilani is on hold. Okay. Neo. All right.
Daniel,
Sure.
sir.
Yeah. So
Hello.
just summarize what you've learned on this part of troubleshooting. I want to move to something else. Just want to get your summary.
Sir, the network reception is
I
very
just
bad.
waiting
I'm
for
even
some.
walking in the street right now. Can you hear? Like, I couldn't get
All right.
what you said the
It's
first
all right.
time.
It's
Like,
fine. We have to come to class going forward. Okay. We have to work on that. So I think you guys have to come back to class. All right. Let me see.
yes, because what you're doing right now is very, very, very.
All right.
It's not
All
working.
right, guys. Can you see my new slide, the formative assignment? Can you see it now?
Yes, you can.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
All right. Let me do this. Okay. So I will send this. I know you don't have like the module 5 formative and summative, right? I will just send it after the meeting.
You're on module 4, sir.
Yeah.
Only have module 4.
Say that.
I'm only here with module 4, sir. I don't have module 5.
Okay. I will send module 5, the formative,
Sir,
summative, and then the learner manual. Okay. So now we're going through the formative, right?
sir, a quick Question, please.
Yeah.
Like, say, aren't we doing module 4 or 5 right now? Because Adrian did send it on the group. I downloaded module 5. Remember, on the day of class, when they were receiving module 4, I wasn't
Okay, we do.
available. So I
Yes,
wrote
I
module
also
5.
got module 5.
Okay, so it's fine. Yeah, let's go through module 5 now, right? So number 1 says explain the importance of only solving problems that one is capable trying to deal with. Make use of an example to explain your answer.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir. Please don't forget to send module 5 for us.
All right, Sharp. I'll drop it on
Some
the
of
group.
us we don't have.
Sharp, no problem.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so module 5.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. All right. My question now says, you can see my formative, right? It says explain the importance of only solving problems that one is capable trying to deal with. Make a use of an example to explain your answer.
Is it like we're supposed to explain the importance of solving problem, or is there a solving problem technique we have to
No.
inform?
Now I'm just looking for the importance of only solving problems that one is capable or trying to deal with.
Yeah, it's an advantage because if problem solving is like, if you don't do that, if you don't know your steps, your procedures, if you don't do it correctly, sir, you might fail somewhere and go along the line. You understand, sir?
Yeah. But the important part is it says explain the importance of only solving problems that one is trying to deal with.
Important.
Kakiso, what's your answer there? Bongega.
The person that was trying to solve a problem, or it was trained, is only responsible for solving that certain problem or whatever problem is. Now making sense now, sir?
Okay, here's the point that I'm looking for, right? So most of the times, if you try to resolve a problem that is outside of your scope, right, outside of your experience, most of the times you end up like you're not efficient in terms of like fixing that specific problem, right? So it will slow you down in terms of like how to finding out the solution to that. For example, the scenario that we're working on now was that of fixing a PC that has problems with like it's processing, it takes it's slow to process most of the task, right? So if like someone is not experienced or is not keen on how to fix that problem, so at the end of the day, they might be able to fix the problem, but it will end up taking them more time in finding a solution to that specific problem. So most of the times, if you are solving any situation, if you're resolving any problem or situation that is outside of your scope or area of expertise, you may not be able to handle it efficiently. Unlike when you have experience. If you have experience, you know, okay, oh, last time I had a similar problem, and then this is how I managed to fix it. And then so now, fixing the same problem, it will take you less time to fix that same problem, right? So that's the answer that I'm looking
Excuse me, sir.
for number 1.
Mr. Melusi,
Sure.
Larry is nagging on me, yes, sir. I told him he must log in again,
Cool.
saying it's not working, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Work now, sir.
Now, why you tell me don't work, Larry? Making me tell us how you nagging on me on.
Oh.
Sorry, sir.
I checked again.
Okay, Sharp, no problem. He's back in now. Okay, number 2. Number 2 says identify whether the following is true or false and provide a reason for your answer. It is only the responsibility of the supervisor to deal with any problems in the workplace. Sandile.
False.
Never went for false. Give your answer, reason for your answer.
Say, like, in a working environment, it's everyone's problem to solve anything that Like into esenza ngayo lapha esipanini. If there's something wrong, akumlanga usupervisor. If you can fix it, you must fix it. Increase the productivity, angithi sir.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, so
Yes, increase
yeah, so
productivity.
that's
So if you have,
that's right, so
yeah, it's,
but I think this
yeah, cool.
I think it's true, sir.
Yeah, because increase productivity, right? Like if there's a problem, you have to solve it. If you can't solve it, and then you take it to the supervisor will know, okay, how are we supposed to solve that specific problem? But to increase productivity, as Newe said, we have to make sure that any problem that comes in that you see in a work environment, if it is within your scope, then make sure that you solve it. Or if it's outside of your
Yeah,
scope,
so if you
then you have to escalate that, call the supervisor, and then the supervisor will fix that or will advise as to how to solve that specific problem, right?
yeah, sir, it makes sense, sir. It's right.
All right. Yeah, so you on this question you have to give if you uh, go for true and give me an answer. But the answer here is it is not only the responsibility of the supervisor, it is the responsibility of all of us, the people that are employed by advanced
Working in
assessment to make sure that all the problems that we face, we resolve them, right? And then if we can't, if it's outside of your scope, you escalate, call the people that are responsible, but just make sure that they are aware of the problem, and then they have to come through and then fix that specific problem. All right. Number three. Number three, it says identify the correct application for Delphi technique in the context of this model. So the Delphi technique,
D, sir.
we're looking at different techniques in terms of like how to solve problems, right? So the technique that I just showed you now is a technique that is used by most organizations to fixing problems, right? So those are the troubleshooting steps, or that's a technique that is used to troubleshoot or to solve any problem. So a Delphi technique is one of the techniques that is used. It might not be exactly similar to the one that we're talking about, but it is in line with that. So it's basically used for troubleshooting or finding faults in any organization or coming or finding a solution to a problem. So question number three says identify the correct application for Delphi technique in the context of this module. So the answer for number three will be problem solving, right?
Yes.
All right.
D.
Number four, it says identify two benefits solving problems quickly and efficiently in the workplace. So which two benefits do you think? What are the two benefits for solving problems quickly?
Choice B and choice D.
Sandile is going with choice B and choice D. Why Sandile? Okay, B says to avoid problem from escalating and worsening. Okay,
Yes.
right, makes sense, right? Do you want to explain
Yeah.
on that one?
Huh?
Do you want to explain on that one? Because most of the times in my class, right, when you're answering, especially the multiple choice, you must support your answer, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
For this one, I don't have a specific answer. I just think it's the better one.
All right. So, okay, and then maybe to support your answer, you're saying choice B. So to avoid the problem from escalating and worsening, right? Like we don't want to see people, or we don't want to waste the client's time. For example, we say you might be might be employed by advanced assessment, but working at a client side, right? So we don't want the client
Yeah.
to end up complaining about the services that advanced assessment is offering them. So if you avoid avoid the problem from escalating and worsening, then it makes things easy for everyone, and then you are also increasing the productivity, making sure that the work carries on. So that's how you can support your answer. But definitely, it's an answer that makes sense. It's a correct one there. And then you said
Thank
D,
you.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, even D. Yeah.
Even D, we all agree with D. Anyone wants to support D to promote efficiency and effectiveness? Okay, that's the part that I've just explained, right? So we have to promote efficiency and effectiveness because we are providing service to the client. We promise the client that we are going to respond to their technical errors, technical queries within maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then we'll be able to resolve them within 15 minutes. And then if we stick to that, the client will always be happy, right? So the benefits of solving problems quickly it promotes efficiency and effectiveness, and it avoids the problem from escalating and worsening. So in worsening part, this is whereby where the client is complaining, or maybe they are posting on the social media and saying, okay, advanced assessment, they gave them the bad service and all of those things, right? So we're trying to protect or trying to avoid the problem from escalating or getting worse. Something that was small can end up becoming worse, right? Because we failed to solve the problem quickly, right? All right. And then let's see this assignment now. Someone to read that for us. Anyone?
Solving. Can I read?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Solving problems. Write a short report on how to identify and deal with common customer complaints in your organization. Ensure that your report addresses the following: the two most common complaints often received by staff in your organization, the importance of investigation to identify the cause of the problem, how feasibility or cost and resources availability factors may affect your ability to resolve complaints, the importance of checking to ensure that your selected solution is effective and actually resolve the problem. Record your memo on separate sheet of paper and mark it as follows.
All right. So number one says the two most common complaints often received by staff in your organization, right? So I've seen most people. I know most of you are not working for. You're not under a technical department, so you end up seeing people answering this in a way of like talking about the problems that they face in their department. But I'm looking for technical problems, right? Because we are doing IT. So we're looking for any technical problem, and then how you list those two technical problems that you usually face. And then number two, the importance of investigating to identify the cause of the problem. Why do you think it's important for us to investigate problems? And then investigate and then also identify the cause of the problem. Why is that important? So you have to list down all of those, right? The benefits of doing that. Okay, let me see if I have an assignment that I want you guys maybe to. Okay, I have an example of the assignment here on my side. Can you guys see it? Problem solving, the assignment, right? Assignment one session
Yes,
2.
sir.
Okay, so you can see problems, two technical problems. User can't open Microsoft Office. That's a technical problem, right? And then number two,
Sir, I can't see.
uh,
Excuse me, sir.
you can't see. It must be your network. If others can see it, okay. Abigail, can you see my screen?
Yes, you can see it.
All right. So
I
You
can
can
see, but
see it,
it's
yeah.
not clear.
it's not clear on your side. Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's not
it's
clear.
blurred. It's not. Yeah.
Shucks, must be my network. I think it's complaining here. All right. But I just wanted to show you the structure of how you supposed to answer this, right? So you can see at the top there, I have two problems, right? User can't open Microsoft Office. User computer keeps on logging out. So I'm looking for technical problems. Don't tell me about maybe the Koala problems or the ETQA problems. We're looking for technical problems like user can't open Microsoft Office, or user's computer keeps on logging out. So you can like simulate, come up with something, and then use those two problems, right? And then the importance of investigating a problem. You can see here, I have explained the importance of investigating that specific problem, of which I said conducting a thorough investigation is really vital, right? This does not only help identify the problem itself, but it helps identify the actual root cause of the problem. Remember, we spoke about the importance of preventing a problem from happening again. And then we said if any department, if an organization doesn't, if the users don't complain about any technical issues, most of those users, they don't even care that we are at work or not, because everything will be running smooth, right? So how do we make sure that all of our systems are always running all the time? It's because if we see a problem, we look for a root cause of that problem, and then we fix the problem from the root causes, right? Where it started, what causes it, so that by so doing, we are preventing the problem from reoccurring again. So we don't fix the same thing time and again. So if you conduct investigation and then identify the problem, the cause of the problem, you are preventing the problem from happening again, right? And then investigation, you get like detailed information about that specific problem. And then once you find the detailed information, it makes it easy for you to troubleshoot. And then you are also preventing the problem from reoccurring in future, right? So that was my point number one. So, and then another point will be this will help to prevent similar problems from reoccurring. Okay. Another purpose is to find facts that can lead to corrective actions and not only to find faults, right? And then sometimes you find that the problem is not caused by the environment. The problem is not caused by the infrastructure. The problem is caused by the user. Maybe the way the user is using the problem then is the one that causes the system to fail. So now, if I fully investigate, and then also identify the cause of the problem, I might be able to pick up things like that. Okay, what exactly is causing the problem to the system? Is it the user problem? Is it the technical, is it the hardware or software? What exactly? Environment or anything? So if you investigate, you find a detailed information about the causes of the problem, of which in the end, it makes it easy for you to prevent the problem from happening again. Okay, so those are the points that I've been looking for, right? Okay, and then another thing will be factors affecting your ability to resolve the problems, right? So you look at the factors affecting your ability to resolve a problem. That's point number 3. How feasibility, cost, and resources are valuable factors. So feasibility is where you look at your solution and then you try to find out, is it doable, right? Is it doable in terms of like cost? Is it doable in terms of like time? So those are the things that you have to look at. Feasibility, we say if you have theory, we have established maybe 10 theories, we have established maybe 2 theories, and then after that, what we're looking for is feasibility is the solution doable, right? Doable in terms of like the time, because we said we need to make sure that we fix the problems quicker so that the user can go back to their work and then work, right? And then the other issue will be feasibility in terms of like cost, right? Feasibility in terms of cost, do we have enough money to implement the solution that we want to implement? So if your solution is very expensive, then we can't go with that solution. So number 3 is all about feasibility. Is the solution doable? Is the idea, is it feasible? Can we do it? Feasibility, looking in terms of like the money, and then also looking in terms of like time. How long will it take you to fix that specific problem? Sorry, what's your name? Pamela. Shucks, I'm wearing a mask. I can't see you. Yeah, you brought me KFC. Thank you so much. So you're submitting module 6. Go to that office, talk to Kamo. She will sort you out. Okay. Just tell her why you are here, right? And then she will know what to do. All right, guys. So does that make sense in terms of like answering this question? Is it clear? Okay, number 4 is the importance of checking to ensure that your selected solution is effective and actually resolve the problem. So this is the part of the monitoring, and then we monitor you to see if the solution that you chose is really effective, is really working, right? Does that part make sense? Is it really effective? Is it really, did it really solve the problem, right? So you have to write down all of that information. So now on my side, when you evaluate your solution or the success of your solution, you are checking and verifying that you have selected or implemented a solution which is effective and it actually did what it was supposed to do, which is solve the problem. But solution evaluation is not only about that, it's also about assessing what you did and learning how it can be done better and faster next time. So that is how I answered that question. So this is how you can structure that question. Can you now see my this assignment? Can you see it clearly? Is it clear on your side?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Yes.
So you can see
No,
on first
no,
thing,
sir.
the first part, right? It was the problems, the 2 problems, identify 2 problems, right? And then the
Yes.
importance of investigating a problem. I explained how I will go about investigating the problem, and then how important it is for us to investigate that. And then the factors affecting your ability to resolve problems. So this is the feasibility study. Feasibility study, we said we're looking for the time frame that will take you to fix the problem. If your solution says, okay, you'll be able to fix this problem after a day, but the user wants their computer now, that means we can't go with that solution, right? And then that's the feasibility, that's the constraint about time. And then point number 2 will be feasibility in terms of like the cost. Do we have enough money to implement your solution? If we don't have that, then can't we come up with another solution that will really help us in terms of like fixing this specific problem, right? All right, let me go back to that material. If you have any question, ask me a question now, because I want to switch to the next slide. Let me see. I think, okay, I just wanna, shucks, do I need this side? No, I need this. So let me do this, switch to the next slide. Okay, so that was, okay, what's the time now? 11:39. Okay, I think I just want to end the meeting now. Let's take a 30 minutes break and then we join at 12. All right, and then at 12, let me see, can we join at 12 or I call it a day and then we do this other thing tomorrow? Let me see, blah, blah, 49:20. Okay, 30 minutes break, right? So that means we're coming back at 12. No,
Okay, sir.
no, wait.
So do we log out and then?
So, okay, we're joining back at 12. Okay, let's take a few minutes break and then we join at 12. So at 12, we're going to
Okay.
take from 12 till 1. It's just going to, and then our class will end at 1, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's take a break.
So,
You can log out. I'll give you another link to join because this one is giving me problems, right? I'll give you another link, but I'll send the link on the group. So you can log out from this and then at 12, you're going to join using another link.
Okay, cool.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Cool, sir.